Integral inner presence. This has been something that we have been working with in our company for over 12 years now. So what got this started, and it finally ended up in a few ways in which you can dabble with this. What is the presence of quality that is existing within us? So when we look at integral inner presence, even throughout my PhD journey and our company's research, we've been grappling with, there is always this sense of our presence. We know it even when a person walks into the room, whether they act or whether they speak, in some form or the shape, there is a state or a quality that comes through from that person. So this presence exists always within us. So how do you use this in the space of, let's say, being conscious about who we are? How do we use this as a leader when we say that, what is the impact of presence that I'm creating through who I am and what I do? So this whole thing started off with this inquiry to say that if we were to give a very tangible way of looking within, if we were to give a very, sort of, objective way of looking at a very subjective thing, how do we use it to access the different qualities within us? So this was the birth of this whole journey. Arul has his book Integrate Depth of Your Being. That was the first start point to translate the integral framework into something that can be universally applied and also in different contexts. And then came through what we called the InStrengths Profiling. So we call this the InStrengths Profiling tool based on the inner presence model. So simply this is about mapping the different parts of our being. And if you look at any holistic model across the globe, you'll find that the 4 domains of physical, emotion, energy, mind, and what we call the deeper self. All these are what we call a typical holistic way of looking at our being. So in the pursuit of our model, we have 8 parts of our being. A quick way of looking at this is the physical part is about stability, repetition and habits, and the physical body. The sensory enjoyment is about opening up the senses to rich experiences, joy, beauty, aesthetics, nature. The dynamic energy is the sheer energy powerhouse that fuels forward movement, that fuels something within us that drives towards action, success, courage, and boldness. The emotional care is the one that begins to connect and bond with the other. And these are the emotion energy domains along with the physical. The mind has 3 beautiful functions of the mind. There is this data mind, which is about known pockets of concrete, precise information and data. Black and white, known boundaries. Then we have the creative mind, that's the fluid part of our mind, which is about future thinking based on an idea or a vision. So creative visualization, ideation is this rhythm, the idea, the force of an idea. And then the integrative mind, which is like the helicopter mind, that we step back and look at the bigger picture. It's the core essence and the synthesis that gives light and clarity. So each of these parts have a beauty and each of these parts have a strength that can offer. And in its configuration is how we are at any given point in time. And the deeper self is our inmost part of us. That is our inner guide. The root of that could be a faith, could be unconditional gratitude, unconditional love, inner peace and calm, intuitive knowing and holding, spontaneously responding from within. So all of these parts exist within us, which is giving it a way to understand all of them in tandem with each other. So then this pursuit of InStrengths Profiling is literally this, through a series of questions which are meant for you to dip into that part of being. So when you take the tool, sometimes you'll say, oh, this is something I really connect with. And when you take the tool in another part of being, you'll be like, oh no, I don't know why, but there's some distance or I'm not able to understand this. And that's a natural way of going through the answering of these statements. So there's the statements, answer them, you'll get a profile which kind of configures what is at this point in time, how you are accessing the 8 parts of our being. And then, the whole magic unveils to say that how does this work in terms of our outer actions and behaviors. Say for example, if we were working on the competency of decision making. And if you look at our inner parts and being and you're looking at it, you will know at the deepest parts that the reason for us to work through the decision making, one is the competency in the process of decision making, but beneath that would be either is it about the aspect of dynamic energy of courage, or is it about the data mind of actually working through sufficient information that will make us make the decision? Or is it about the capacity or need to get consensus in the decision making? So all of these are the inner shifts or practices that we put in place to help enable the outer decision making. So what is this configuration? How are the 8 parts of being naturally accessed by us right now? Does this configuration serve our life right now? And let's say in a project or in work or in a relationship, I feel there's an ask for something else in me, then how do I shift that moment to moment? And this is what we call the InStrengths Profiling tool and the journey along with it. And moment to moment, for you to dip into what we call 60 inner strengths, we have the InStrengths Inside Cards app. So take the tool. The light report is complimentary. Start looking at that. If you wish a conversation, we do want a beautiful process called a 90-minute self-discovery process. Go through that experience with us. In the process itself, we will enable you to touch those parts of your being experientially, look at your inner configuration and patterns, take a context or a breakthrough solution that you're looking for, and how do you put a practice or how do you work on a part of being for that. And also finding out which is naturally coming for you, which is your unique contribution to the outer collective world. So this is what happens in the self-discovery process. And so come in and experience this and know more about yourself, access the richness of your being through these 8 parts of being. Thank you.